Hey guys, this is Bruce from ConvoCourses, and I haven't done a live in a while, but I figure I'd go ahead and do this. What I'm gonna do for this one, I'll be on for about 40 minutes to an hour, and I'm going to answer questions as I normally do and those questions will be from YouTube channel, and anybody who pops on live right now, any questions that you have, I'll do my very best to answer it. And if you're new to this channel, this is ConvoCourses, and what I talk about is mostly security compliance, but I'm hoping to expand to other things like security assessments and maybe some other stuff in the future. So let's jump into this. What I wanted to do was actually go through some of my comments. I do not ignore comments. I do read them. And if you're waiting for me to answer a question on one of your comments, sometimes I'll do a whole video and I just won't release it for a while because I'm on a schedule. But here we go. Let's start with this first one coming from Raul Brown, who says, "Cheers for wasting my time. Less advertising and more actual content associated with this title, please." And the title was Transition to IT Security from Help Desk. Okay, so in this one I did advertise my course because I have a course that walks you through this stuff. But I also said, hey, I've done this video multiple times, but you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do this video again, and let me show you guys what we're talking about. So to recap, we're talking about transitioning from a customer support IT job or help desk, or there's many different names for it. Support, customer support, tier 1, help desk, fixing workstations, covering tickets, stuff like that, to cybersecurity. What I'm going to tell you is how to change your resume to get the job, first of all, from help desk to cybersecurity, if that's the direction you want to go, what you kind of need to know about this before you get into it, and some kind of like a mindset change. And then I'll finalize it with like, what kind of things do you need to know going from help desk to cybersecurity? So I used to be help desk. This was my first job. I was in the Air Force, and the first thing I did was I did help desk work. And help desk, if you didn't know, is you're servicing tickets. Ticket is like a request to fix a workstation, a request to fix a laptop, or sometimes you'll get a call and it's on the 3rd floor of your building. You got to go down there and fix it. Or you might be a field technician where somebody calls in, says that you try to troubleshoot it over the phone. You have them reboot the system, ask them what the errors are on the screen, look at the log, stuff like that. And if they can't fix it over the phone, you'll actually go to their site and try to fix it on site. So that's help desk in a nutshell. So typically it's tier 1, and what that means is you're the first line of defense. The first person they call for this problem, you're actually asking them questions, trying to troubleshoot it, and getting all the things that they're seeing on the screen, and you take the first crack at fixing this thing. And typically if it's like a normal workstation issue, or a normal like a software issue, like something's not, it's rebooting over and over again, so you would go into the logs and try to see what the error messages are, and you would try to fix it. And if you can't fix it, you will take it to tier 2. There might be some kind of configuration that has to be changed, and you don't have the rights to do it. So an administrator, system administrator, tier 2 has to go and look at it, and they got to tweak some stuff on the back end. They've got to maybe change the they have to update the software, or they have to uninstall it and reinstall it, something that you couldn't do on your end because it's some software that's controlled by some server or something like that. And then 3rd tier is like, I don't know, it might be, 3rd tier is usually kind of specialized. It might be that you have to fix the network or something like that. Somebody else does it. But we're talking about tier 1, help desk stuff, trouble tickets, and all that kind of thing. So you want to go, I'm assuming you want to go from being a help desk person to cybersecurity. So first of all, if you're trying to get into this field, you're trying to transition into the field, you should know that your resume is going to have to look a little bit different. And what I mean to say is that, let's say that this is your resume. Let me switch screens here. I want to show you what a resume like. All I did here, this is something I just put together in like 5 minutes. I grabbed somebody's actual content from LinkedIn and I put this stuff in here. So this is somebody's real information from different resumes that I took off of LinkedIn. I only took these 2 examples. And it's just to show you kind of what you need to have as a cybersecurity person. So cybersecurity tech headhunters and technical recruiters and HR department, they're looking for something different than if they were looking for a help desk person, obviously, right? What are they looking for? That should be the first thing in your mind. What are they actually looking for? Right? They're not, because you're going to have things like, oh, I'll do trouble tickets. I know how to fix Office 365. You have a certain set of skills that are tailored to help desk. So what you want to do is make your resume fit the description of a cybersecurity person. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what do you want me to do, Bruce? You want me to lie? You want me to lie? No, absolutely not. I do not want you to lie on your resume. What I want you to do is highlight all the security things that you have done. And let me explain what I mean by that. So in cybersecurity, one of the things that you don't see is a normal IT person. Even some system administrators don't see this kind of thing. You guys are just kind of fixing. You just kind of like this. You're like, you got blinders on. You fix the thing. Thing's broken. You fix it. Move on to the next thing. Fix that thing. Move on. Well, as a cybersecurity person, your field of view is 360 degrees. You're not just fixing one thing. You're looking at, especially if we're talking about what I do, which is security compliance. It is 365 degrees. You've got to look at 360 degrees. Sorry, you've got to look at everything that might impact the organization as a whole, right? Now that said, let me show you a glimpse of the big picture that I'm talking about. This is going to make sense in a second. So this right here, what you're looking at, is some of the types of policies and some of the types of security controls that you're implementing. Whenever you do any kind of security thing, you do patches, you do updates, you update signature files, you're actually implementing these things that you see on all of this stuff that you see on the screen. You're implementing this. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this is known as security control families. And if you've done any of this stuff as a help desk person, if you've had any number of years doing the help desk, you have done many of these things. And let me give you an example. Now, this is the stuff that you're going to put on your resume, so pay attention. So if you've ever done access control, so access control, let me explain, is sort of like creating accounts. So if you've ever been in the process, and I know help desk people do this, they are on the front line sometimes of actually creating accounts for users or fixing accounts even. So access control is extremely important to cybersecurity. So if you've ever done any aspect of this, chances are you have done some type of level of cybersecurity. Your job as an IT professional, help desk, support, even to some degree, program managers, and also your system administrators, all of us are involved in the cybersecurity process. And so what you want to do is highlight those things on your resume. If you're transitioning from help desk or support or field tech to get into cybersecurity, you have to let people know. You must advertise that you have done these things before. And the problem is that some people don't know what they've done, and they don't really think about it, because like I said, they're like this. I need to fix this thing. They fix that thing, move on to the next thing. With cybersecurity, you gotta open it up a little bit. You gotta look at everything. How have I impacted the security posture of the organization? That's what you gotta think about from start to finish, from the time that you begin your transition process to the time that you are in the field and on. Okay, how am I, as an IT person, helping to improve the cybersecurity of our organization? So again, on these controls. Now these controls that you're seeing on the screen, this is known as NIST 800 family of controls. And so we've got access controls. So if you've ever created, like I said, if you've ever created an account, that's access control. And we'll talk about the language that we could put in there to put in your resume. Another thing is awareness training. If you've ever done some training for anyone in your organization. Now, I know for sure as a help desk person, sometimes you've got to educate the users, the operational users, of what to do, what to click, when not to click on email. Maybe you have to do some remedial training on phishing to avoid, so that the operational users avoid clicking on phishing links within emails. That can be classified as awareness training. Or maybe you actually were part of the training process where you actually walked normal users, operational users, through basic security. Now for you, it's like air. You don't even think about it, but it's something you actually do every day. And that's what I'm trying to implement, to emphasize here. Another thing is AU controls, which is auditing. If you've ever turned on audit logs, if you've ever had to fix the audit logs on a system, if you've ever had to look at the audit logs to see if there's some security stuff going on, if you've done any kind of documentation, if you've ever helped to write documentation for procedures for people to load new files on their system, or to make better passwords, or procedures to do hot fixes, or anything like that. If you've ever had to write procedures, some kind of a wiki or some kind of a work instruction, you have been part of a process of actually creating documentation, which could be, you could put into your resume as a cybersecurity task that you have done. Another thing is contingency planning. If you've ever been a part of your organization's disaster recovery team, or if you've ever had to disaster recovery a system, like as a cybersecurity person, I'm sure you've had to do that at least once, especially if you've done this for a few years. You've had to recover people's system. That's a common thing. So you have done some kind of backups. You have done some kind of recovery. You've done some system restores. That stuff is cybersecurity stuff. You just got to know how the language that it takes to actually make the transition, and that's what we're talking about here. So there's many other things. There's identification and authentication. That's making passwords, making multi-factor authentication. There's incident response. If you've ever responded to an incident that involved some sort of security issue, or if you've ever eliminated a malware from somebody's system, the list goes on and on. You can kind of see where this is going here. Now there's other, let me just legitimize this. Let's validate what I'm seeing here. This is not just the NIST 800 standard. What you got to understand is this is something that is a security best practice that's done throughout the world. And typically when you hear about people getting hacked, systems, organizations getting hacked, our system, our data getting leaked out there, it's because the organization actually did not do these simple security best practices. And let me just give you a for example here. So you just looked at a federal standard that focused on the United States' federal cybersecurity things that they must do, right? What I'm showing you right now, if I can get this a little bit bigger, what I'm showing you right here is actually, this comes from the CIS controls. Now, these same controls is what I just showed you on the other side. Inventory of hardware and software assets, continuous vulnerability management, that's install and patches. Use of admin privileges, that's access, that ties right into access controls, and it ties right into identification and authentication. You've got secure configurations, you got maintenance. All of these are basically foundational things that an organization must do. Now, if you're thinking, well, I'm Bruce, I'm in UK, I don't use these American standards. This is not, like I said, this is universal security best practices. So the same things that I'm showing you here are also on the other side of the pond. These are things everyone must do. Every large organization must do. And what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are a help desk professional, you have done probably most of these things here. You just need to put them on your resume. So that's what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell. All right. So let me kind of show you here. Let me go to our fake resume here. And here's my resume. And what we're going to do, starting from the top, is we're going to put our whatever certifications that we have. Let's say that we got the CompTIA A+ certification is a common help desk. So we want to put that on top. And one thing I would say here is if you're seriously thinking about doing cybersecurity, you should probably think about doing the Security Plus. Security Plus. Now, if you don't have this up here, obviously you wouldn't put this up here. You wouldn't put, I have a Security Plus. But what you could do is do this. You could say something like this. Well, check this out. So I'm going to go down here and I want to put my education up top. It's a little trick here. Okay. We'll put my education on top. Now we're transitioning from help desk to cybersecurity. So what we're going to do is say, and certifications. We're going to put our degree, whatever degree that is, but we're also going to say this. Security plus in progress. Now, if it's not in progress, you don't want to put that here. But like I said, if you're trying to transition, you should do the Security Plus. It's a great way to get your foot in the door for these organizations. Now, if you don't have it, of course, we would not put this up here. But what we did was we put it in our resume. Why? The reason why we put it in our resume is because this whole game is all about algorithms. Algorithms are all about keywords. So when it comes to job aggregators, when you put your resume up there, when you put all your information in LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you're going to post it, Monster, when you put Security Plus, a technical recruiter or HR or all these people looking for people to fill these positions, they are looking for Security Plus. They're looking for, has this person ever done a vulnerability scan? There's certain keywords they're looking for a cybersecurity person. That's a lot different from what they would look for as a help desk person. You want to put that stuff in your resume. And what I noticed when I'm going through LinkedIn is like a lot of help desk people, period, don't really fill out their resume. And that's just unfortunate. You want to fill it out as much as possible, and you want to put the things you've done. Now, if you're transitioning from help desk to cybersecurity, you need to highlight all the security things that you've done. Now, we just talked about the security best practices. We talked about NIST 800. I walked you through a couple of the families. We looked at the NIST, the CIS controls, and you can clearly see that there's a universal standard for security compliance, right? For security controls and security best practices. You need to put that in your resume. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Your skills. If we go to skills, if you're one of these people who puts this stuff up top, that's fine. Whatever, wherever you can put keywords is fine. So skills, we have help desk support, troubleshooting, workstations, and Office 365, basic help desk stuff. But if we're going for a cybersecurity job, okay, so we need to do a separate resume that focuses on cybersecurity, and that's what we're doing here. Okay, so let's start from the top. Skills. Some of the skills we want to do. Okay, we don't need this stuff. Okay, we want to focus on cybersecurity stuff. So we want to put things like things that we've done. Of course, we don't want to lie. We want to say something like vulnerability scanner. If you've been on help desk and you've done a vulnerability scanner, this is something that's very hot in the cybersecurity space. So congratulations. If you have that skill set, you definitely want to advertise that because that's something they're looking for. Nessus scan. You want to put the exact type that you used, whatever type that you used, then put that in there. And you want to put scanner. Okay, what other things can you put? Now, typically help desk people don't work with things like firewalls. They typically don't work with things like IDSs, but they do work with antivirus. So you might want to put something like highly skilled with semantic antivirus, or whatever it's called, semantic endpoint protection, whatever name they buzzwords that they have. You want to put that exact thing that you've done, semantic endpoint protection, because this is something that help desk people do from time to time, is work on this. And we want to put antivirus, because that's another keyword that we put in there, right? So another thing we want to put is what other things, help me out here, audience. What other things can we put in here as a help desk person who is transitioning to cybersecurity? What other things does a help desk person do that's very normal cybersecurity thing that they might do? Vulnerability management is something that help desk people do. Vulnerability management. And what do I mean by that? Management. What I mean by this one is that you are a part of the process of actually putting vulnerabilities on a system. So you want to put that in there. You want to advertise your skills as vulnerability management. So you put that in there. You get the idea. Any type of security things that you have done, you want to put them in there. And if you are confused on this, and you don't know the NIST, and you don't know CIS controls, you can literally go to Google and type in security best practices. And you'll find a list of security best practices. Go down the list of all the stuff that you've done, put them in the skills. That's what you can do. Now let's take it a step further. I'm not going to do too much of this. I just want to give you a glimpse of what I'm talking about here. What I've done is I've taken actual stuff from LinkedIn, from people's resumes, and put it in here. This is real information. Somebody said troubleshot for company A, help desk support. That was something like the title that they had in there. Troubleshot for iPad program for Department of Veteran Affairs. Over 4,000 devices monitored nationally in over 20 cities. Okay, this guy's a military person. You could tell. There's a lot of impact in there. But anyway, so what we want to do is we want to explain the actions that we've taken and the impact to the organization. So let me just give you a for instance. And we want to use the language of cybersecurity. So the language of cybersecurity, this is a good one right here. Look at this. You can leave all the troubleshoot stuff in there, whatever. That's cool. They probably want to know that you know that kind of basic technical skill set. But here's a really good one. Over 4,000 devices monitored nationally over. Okay, so this is continuous monitoring. So continuous monitoring is a regular, is a basic security practice. So we want to say, something like part of the continuous monitoring team. So what I've done here is I put a little bit of a keyword in here. That's what this is right here. Keyword, boom. Impact. Impact, they already have it here. Over 4,000 devices monitored nationally in over 20 cities. Boom. So this is a security feature. Like, this is something that organizations look for. Continuous monitoring. And we might want to even take it a step further. If this person worked for, says Veteran Affairs here, that means that this person was under the NIST 800. So they could put something like this. They could say familiar. Now, obviously, if they're not familiar with NIST 800, they don't want to put this in there. But familiar, they could say something like familiar with the NIST 800's continuous monitoring program. Or they could say something like this. As a part of the NIST 800 risk management framework, or we can even put the whole name, risk management framework continuous monitoring program. Monitoring program. See what I'm doing here? So what I'm doing is I'm tying their technical experience right into cybersecurity. And you want to do this throughout your resume. You don't even have to delete your technical stuff. This stuff actually can help you. But what you want to do is highlight anywhere where you've done cybersecurity. If there might be instances where you helped to deploy signatures for antivirus, you want to put that in there. That's a common best security practice that you help the organization to put in place so that to protect against malware, to protect against ransomware. That's the kind of stuff you want to put in your resume because that's very important, and that's a security thing that you've done. And so now you get the basic gist of it. You want to put all that stuff in there as much as possible. And like I said, what you want to do is, if you're not familiar with this, if you don't know what the security best practices is, you don't even know, like you've been like this fixing things for years, you actually don't know what to put in there and all that kind of stuff. Go to Google. You can follow me right now. Hold on. I'll show you right here live. You can go to Google and type in best security practices. Best security practices right here. Right? Best security practices. Let me make this a little smaller if I can. And it will show us basic things. Top 10 computing tips. Secure computing tips. And this just says this is basic stuff that almost every organization should be doing. Okay? Every organization, not just some. So avoid phishing scams. Have you been a part of your organization's attempts to avoid phishing scams? Have you ever helped your organization have better practices on password management? Have you ever helped your organization to educate people on being careful what they click? Have you ever helped to safeguard data? Have you ever encrypted data? Have you ever used BitLocker before? Did you help the organization secure BitLocker? What was the impact of you helping to put BitLocker and encryption on your systems? Those are the kinds of things you want to put in your resume, okay? That's what's going to help you to get noticed. You want to align yourself with the things that cybersecurity people are looking for. And another thing that you can do to kind of cheat is to look for, if I can show you here, cybersecurity jobs. Okay, cybersecurity jobs. Check this out. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way. If you go to LinkedIn, you'll see a bunch of jobs. Okay, some of the stuff that you are looking for, that you want to do. And to cheat, you go into this person's cybersecurity project specialist, if that's the job you want to do. I'm not sure what job it is, but whatever job it is, if it's a firewall person, if it's a cybersecurity professional, if it's if it's an information system security officer, name your title, put them in there and look at the job descriptions. And what you want to do is look for things that you have actually done in your line of work. And let me just kind of read a couple here. If you've ever managed multiple projects, this is for like a project manager, so this is probably not a good example. Let me get another one here. Cybersecurity CEO, no. Cybersecurity, kind of a good one is what I'm looking for. Cybersecurity professional, protect service advisor. Cybersecurity, there's so many cybersecurity jobs, it's crazy. Okay, this specialist might be a good one. Okay, let's look at this one. So, job description. You're going to look at the job description and you're going to look at your own skills. You're going to match what they're saying. Use their language, but use your skills. Okay, that's how you find the keywords. Job description is assist members of the workforce with minimizing risk. Put this in your resume. Find a way to put this in your resume. Promote security awareness and security posture. This is security training. So if you've ever done security training, you want to put the keyword security awareness in there. Another keyword, security posture. This is the kind of language that they use. You want to use their language to get in that job. I'm going to switch gears for a second here. And what I want to tell you is that making my transition from help desk to cybersecurity, it really takes a different mindset. For help desk type positions, whether you got a few months in or you've got a few years behind you or a decade in there, the mindset is you're kind of fixing one problem at a time. So like I said, you're like this. You're just fixing one problem at a time, one problem at a time. A set of problems, the tickets come in, you fix that problem. And when things aren't happening, you're kind of just sitting waiting. Waiting for something to break, waiting for something, or maybe you're doing some training on the side, maybe you're training somebody else, whatever, right? Taking a certification, whatever. You're waiting. It's an operational job that depends on, normally it's hourly work, and so you're kind of like sitting there waiting for a customer to call or a ticket to come in, pop up in the queue. And your mindset is, I'm going to fix this problem. Now I'm going to fix this problem. You're playing whack-a-mole all the time. From a cybersecurity perspective, it's different. The mindset's different. And because of that, the stress involved. The mindset is, we need to secure our network. We need to secure our users. We need to secure our organization. What's the risk to our organization? Your range of what you're looking at for a cybersecurity is way wider. The stress is that there's money involved. And sometimes people's lives are on the line. I'm not exaggerating. People's livelihoods are on the line. There's a lot more stress. So when you're talking to a cybersecurity person, is going to have more exposure to the management and the C-level sides of the house. They're dealing with things that affect the organization's bottom line, the mission, or the business, and the reputation. Whereas at a help desk, you're kind of playing whack-a-mole with things that are going on inside the organization. And you might, every now and then, you're touching on things that are going to impact the whole organization. But for the most part, your mindset's different. You're looking at this, now you're looking at this, now you're looking at that, now you're looking at... Cybersecurity has to think about, okay, how did I help? How can we fix this problem? Because it's not going to be you as a cybersecurity person that fixes every problem. That's not going to happen. If you're the firewall guy, that's your job. You're kind of just doing the firewall stuff, but you know that what you're protecting is the entire organization. All the little groups and assets within the organization are being protected by the firewall. So you got to make sure the rules are good. But once again, you're thinking, how can we get these rules down so we can protect our organization? The thing is, like, as a help desk person, you can just you're just fixing the tickets are coming in. That's all you got to worry about. But soon you get into cybersecurity, it's like it just opens up. And I had a friend, let me just give you an example. I had a friend who went from pure troubleshooting. He went from help desk to, he was an electronics guy in the Air Force. And him and I worked as field techs, fixing Unix systems and SATCOM systems and stuff like that. We were playing whack-a-mole. Like, we would go out to this field. We were field techs, so we'd go out, fix this, fix that, and install this, put this new upgrade in, all that kind of stuff, right? And that's what we were doing. He transitioned. He got a CISP, and he started transitioning into cybersecurity. And he did it for 3-4 years. We haven't talked in a while, but so I think he did it for 5 years or something. And last time I talked to him, he says, "Man, I hate cybersecurity. I hate it, and I know why. The reason why this dude hates it is because he don't like talking to people. He doesn't like the stress. Like, there's just a lot of stress involved. You have to talk to the management sometimes. If there's an incident that goes out that's happening, people are stressed out. They are freaking out. They are in panic mode. And then they're dealing with stuff on the spot right now. If it's a serious security incident, like maybe some classified data got leaked to an unclassified system, people are panicking. They're freaking out. People are getting in trouble. Like, people are going to get in trouble. Heads are going to roll in some cases. Like, it's not cool. But the thing is, you got to remember, if you just remember this, we need to protect our organization. It's not your job to protect everyone's data. It's our job to protect our data. As a cybersecurity person, that transition of going from playing whack-a-mole and doing this and doing that to having this bigger view of the organization, that's probably the biggest transition. That's the biggest mindset change that you have to make. As soon as you start thinking like that, things change, because you'll change your resume. Your resume will go from supported this, supported that, to that you helped to improve the overall security of the organization, right? You're thinking different. You're talking about helping the organization as a whole, rather than I did this one thing, now I did this one thing, and now I did this one thing. So that's, in a nutshell, the transition. We talked a little bit about your resume. Your resume should reflect all the security things that you've done. Even if you've never held an actual title of cybersecurity, your resume should reflect all the security things that you have done. All right, as much as possible. And where do you get those from? Go to Google, type in security best practices. You can find them there. You can also find them on NIST 800. You can find them on CIS control. Anywhere you find security controls. You can also go to cybersecurity control families. They've got them in ISO. They've got them in Australia has their own set. Canada has their own set. US has its own set, both publicly and privately. They're all kind of talking about the same thing. They're all in line with one another. And if you can pick and choose all of those different ones that you have done before, you can put them easily in your resume. So that's all I want to say about that, to cover this person's question. I hope that was it. I've got several other videos that talk about the same thing. I also got a complete course that walks you through everything I just said in much greater detail. Let me see. I got a couple people watching here. Long live Simba says, good evening. How you doing, sir? Says, Bruce, when you get a chance, I would appreciate you ask a few questions. No problem. Hey, Bruce, do you think if I study the CAP the next 2 months, I could take the test before it changes in August 16th? That's a very good question. So if you guys didn't know, these certifications, most of the IT certifications, especially if they're high-level certifications or very respected certifications, IT certifications, they change from time to time, usually like every 3 years or something, every 3-4 years, depending on how big it is. Some of the larger ones don't change for a while, but they do all change from time to time. So the CAP, the ISC2 CAP, is changing on apparently August 16th, 2021, at the time of this recording. So we are a few months away from that right now. How do I think, and let me just answer the question. So do I think if you studied for the CAP in the next 2 months, I could? Yes, I would say. But let me qualify. Let me back up a little bit before I say yes. I would have to know your background. Have you done risk management framework before? Are you an ISO? Have you done information system security officer work? If the answer is yes, I would say 2 months is enough time. If you study well for it. I can quickly tell you like some of the things to study. And I have another instructor that I work with, and she just I haven't taken this thing in like years, man. Last time I took this thing, I think I took it when it first came out in 2011 or something. Like I took it a long time ago. I've been using it. Like I use the knowledge from it. That's why I know like off the top of my head how to do this stuff. I just did it for so long. But let me show you like some of the stuff you need to study. While I'm looking for this, I want to just let you know, like, if you have been doing information system security officer work for some time, like a year, more than 2 years, if you've been doing it for at least 2 years, I'd say, it won't be too hard, particularly if you've been doing it for any kind of federal organization and you've done system security packages before. You know what a system security plan is. You know what a SAR and a SAP is. You know what FIPS, the FIPS 199, FIPS 200, you know NIST 800 series of documents. If you know those things, then you could study for it in 2 months. The questions are really out there, to be honest with you, like the way that they word it. I don't know if you've ever taken an ISC2 course before. The way they ask questions is there's some knowledge-based questions, like straightforward, like what color is the sky kind of questions. Very straightforward, yes or no type, blue, red questions. One-word answer questions. But a lot of the questions, the ones that are going to throw you off, are going to be the comprehensive questions, where they give you a scenario, and then you have to answer the question, and then the answers, 3 of them are going to look the same. One of them is going to be a throwaway question that you can rule out immediately, but 3 of them are going to kind of look similar, and that's where it gets hard. The 3 questions that look similar, you got to, and it's going to come down to 2. You'll be able to rule. Usually, if you know your stuff, you can immediately rule out 2. And it's going to come down to 2 questions because it's a multiple choice test. So there's going to be 4 answers. You're going to be able to rule it down to 2, and you got to figure out which one is more right than the other. That's how it was when I took the test many years ago. It was. Yeah, the way they word the questions is what's hard, I would say. Not necessarily the questions themselves. It's the way they word it, in my opinion, that was out there. So let me give you a couple resources that you can use. All right, so one of them that you need to check out is they don't really go into, at least when I took it, they didn't really go into security controls so much. They go into more of the process. So if you go to the ones you want to read, is probably NIST 800, and this kind of surprised me. NIST 830, which talks about risk assessments. This one right here is one you want to read. Read through this one. Another one is 839, information security risk. Read through this one. It really focuses on NIST documentation. I was very surprised how much it focused on NIST documentation. 839 was a big one. 837 was a big one. This is risk management framework. They're going to talk about not only the risk management framework, but the system development lifecycle and how those two match up to one another. They talk about things like that. Excuse me. So the questions, when I took the test many years ago, it felt like it was more like management type questions, not like in the weeds stuff like, oh, what's SC8? What's NIST 800 SC8 control? What family is that? What? It's not questions like that. It's like more comprehensive questions that are seeing if you understand where risk management framework matches with the system development lifecycle. It was stuff like that. Management type high level questions. And another one that really shocked me, another great resource, is FIPS 199 and FIPS 200. Read those. This is literally like, I don't know, 20 pages, not even 20, like 8 pages. One of these is like 8 pages long. But you'll be surprised how much of it is in there, is on that test. I'm not giving you, I don't want to lose my CISSP and shit, so I'm not giving you specifics. Let me see. My level is very beginner, and to be honest, but my dad is deep in the government. He has taken the CAP course right now, and he is preparing to take the exam himself this month. Well, that's great. You can have a great resource. If I were you, I'd read all the stuff I just gave you. And another great resource, by the way, is the ISC2 squared. I'll show you that in a second. Anyway, if I were you, I would read those NIST documents I just showed you. Read them, start to finish, right? Start to understand. Take notes if you need to. For me, I'll take notes and go through all my notes and figure out like how all of this stuff matches together. And in my mind, you got to give your own picture of your own understanding of how all this stuff fits together, right? Everybody learns differently is what I mean. You might, an audio book, you might be able to get one of those. You might have to do tests over and over again. Maybe you're just one of those guys who could just read the book once and you're good. But those resources, FIPS 199, FIPS 200, NIST 837, NIST 830, NIST 839, those were all, like, I seen those over and over again on the test in one way, shape, or form. You need to know the entire life cycle of risk management framework, from prepare all the way down to continuous monitoring, and how all of those match up to the SDLC, the system development life cycle. Okay, you need to know the difference between the system development life cycle and the software version of it. Those are all the things that you need to know. And then what I would do, once you study all of those, once your dad takes the test, meet up with him and do some practices with him. Like, have him teach you and guide you in the right direction. I'm not telling you to cheat or anything like that. I would not tell you to do that. I would not tell you to do that. But but what you got to do is sit down with him, take notes, and he'll guide you in the right direction. And I guarantee you'll see some of these NIST documents. He's going to also see some of these NIST documents on there. So yeah, that's what I would do. Oh, let me show you a couple more resources before we move on here. If I can find some resources here. One is a book I'm currently reading. Let me see if I can bring that book up. It is called, let me see if I can access my, okay, maybe I'll even show you my, they don't have do they have a soft copy of it on here? Kindle. So there's a Kindle book. I believe it's on Kindle. Not cheap. It's like $60, but it's a decent book. I mean, it breaks down things you should know as an information system security officer doing the NIST stuff, and it's training you specifically for CAP. And I am trying to find it now. Kindle Reader. Oh man, where is that thing? I don't think they did not have they didn't have a soft copy for it. I mean, a hard copy for it. I don't think. Let me see. There was some kind of restrictions on this book. Okay, I don't know how much of this I could show you. So I'm trying to, bear with me real quick. I don't have it on here? Damn. All right. All right, while that loads, let me show you something else. ISC2.org. Couple of really good resources that I'm going to show you. One is ISC2. This has some resources on here for that certification and other certifications. So let's go. You go here. I'm on ISC2.org. ISC2.org. Go to CAP. And this right here will have a breakdown of everything you need. You download this right here. It's going to ask you to create an account and all that. They want to advertise to you, so you give them your email. You can give them a throwaway email if you want. And then it breaks down why you should get the certified CAP fast facts, what to expect on the exam, how to prepare on the exam. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. What else is really good on here? They have some really good training resources on this site. Here's one right here. The series. Once you sign up for the site, they have a lot of free training resources that you can use for CPEs and stuff. So this is a good site. I mean, good resource on how to get through this. And it's covering like these right here. See this right here? This is pretty much what it's covering. Like these are some of the domains. And you'll notice that these domains line up with the actual risk management framework steps. So categorize, selection, implement, assessment, authorization, and continuous monitoring. It's broken up like that. And yeah, that's, you got to know, that's 837, by the way. It's all documentation. So yeah, that's it. I'm still trying to download this book real quick. Give me a minute and I'll show you this book and refer you to that book as well. And he says, thanks a lot. My strength is note taking and test taking, actually. So that's great advice. Yeah. So me too. I'm pretty good at training myself to actually take tests. You know, it's been a very marketable skill. It's been a very marketable skill. I know how to take tests. I know how to memorize it for myself. I don't know how other people do it. I know some people could just like listen to a book one time. That's not me. I gotta like take notes. I gotta have keywords. I have like, there's a certain methodology that I personally have to use, and everybody has a different training method here. I'm still trying to download this thing, so bear with me. There's one last great resource besides the NIST.gov sites with all the documentation that I want to show you. And I'm still downloading that, so give me a second. Hope to be a CAP role or close to one by the end of the year. That's a great goal. He is headed for security at a government site and looking to pivot. He has had his own officers make the transition as well. That's great. That's great news. Still trying to download Kindle so I can show you this book, by the way. It's one of the only books that I found out there, and honestly, after they change it, I don't know how relevant it's going to be anymore. It's been in print for a long time. They do update it from time to time, but it's just a lot of information that updates. So I'm just wondering if they'll keep up with this stuff. What is going on with this Kindle app, man? Wow. Oh, okay, they're going through all this training stuff. Holy moly. Okay, let me see. Here we go. There it is. Okay, so I had to download the Kindle app because it's not on this computer for some reason. And yeah, wow, now it's frozen. Good old freaking Amazon. All right, let me see if I can find another way to do this live. I did not prepare for this one, just so you know. Oh, it won't let me read it unless I have the app, of course. Because why would you do that? Dang. Dang. I can't even click on it. Okay. In the interest of time, what I can do is just take the name. It's called the Official ISC2 Guide to the CAP B CBK. Let me see. Official Guide to the CAP CBK. I was trying to show you guys the inside of my actual book, but I'm having trouble with Kindle, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. It's not allowing me to access it, but here's what I'll do. I will show you the book. This is the book right here. It's not cheap. It's going for $70. Oh my goodness. It's like a college book. It's about half the price of a college book. Have you seen the price of college books lately? Anyway, this is $61. It's available on Amazon. That's where I bought it. And it's an okay book. It's really the best resource out there right now if you can just read a book. And the way it focuses on I like the way that they cover the material. The way they cover the material I feel like is relevant to the test itself. Not as relevant to the actual work you do, but the CAP is, in my opinion, is not super in tune with the actual work. In my personal opinion, it's very cerebral and it's very like academic, you know. But when you get into real world stuff, I can't say that I used a lot of this. I mean, the ideas are there. I mean, like they look talking about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, stuff like that. The system development lifecycle, yeah. But I feel like what they should have done with the course, with the CAP certification, was made it more relevant to an information system security officer, because most of the people who take this are going to be information system security officers. Just my 2 cents. Like, I feel like they should have made it to where it was more practical, but I guess that's not the ISC2 style. I don't know. But yeah, here's the book right here. It's pretty good. It's I would say it's worth your time for the purposes of taking the test. If you want to take it before August, because I don't know how the new test after August is gonna be different from this. It might be completely different, and you're only like a month out now, 2 months out, month and a half out. We're in June, right? June, July, 2.5 months out. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you can do it. If you have some experience, you can do it. Okay, I got super long-winded on that one. Let me see. I got other people talking here. 13 people watching. Let me see. I know you said before in the DMV area, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia area, there are some hiring and teaching on the job type roles. Thanks a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's the mecca of risk management framework type jobs. I mean, it's most of the jobs that I've seen. I might even say most cybersecurity jobs in the US are probably in that area. Because if you think about it, you've got all the 3 letters are there. So NSA, that's all your cryptographers right there. Your cryptography, they're super big into that. They hire the most mathematicians, if I'm not mistaken. So cryptography is big there. Hacking is super big there. Hackers, hacking, like all that kind of stuff is there. And I'm sure they have some ISOs over there too. So you got FBI, that's forensics mecca right there. There's tons of forensics jobs for FBI because they're doing all these investigations across the United States. Who else? You got CIA, that's counterintelligence, cybersecurity, cyber threat intelligence, cyber threat counterintelligence, stuff like that. You got the DoD, which has everything, because it's got 4 branches of the United States services. 5 now, I think, right? Because Space Force, 4 or 5, I don't know, whatever. You got Department of Homeland Security there. And their headquarters, this is their Quantico, you got their actual headquarters there. So, you know, that's why they have the most information system security officers, because it's not just government jobs. A lot of these guys, they hire contractors. So you've got all these different contracting companies who work for these 3-letter agencies. And not to mention all the other ones like Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Department DEA, like there's so many jobs there. It's just flooded. And so yeah, it's just if you're trying to look for a job, if you're there and you have any kind of IT experience, like I'd be super surprised if you're not making 6 figures already. I mean, I would be surprised if you're not close at least to it. You're doing something wrong with your resume, I would say, if that's the case. Okay, Navi 2000 says, "Hey Bruce, thanks for keeping us motivated. I just got my ISACA CISM certification." Wow, that's great, man. That's a great certification. If you guys didn't know, ISACA CISM is highly sought after not only in the federal government because of the 8170, because it's on the 8170. 8170 is like it's like a breakdown. 8170 is 8140. 8140? Or am I'm going to see now? Okay, there we go. 8140 is this document. Let me just show you real quick. It's a document here kind of behind me here that goes into some of the things that the Department of the DOD has put together for things that they're looking for. And as you can see, CISM is right here. See that right? I don't know if you can see that. It's probably too small. I'm trying to make it bigger, but I'm really messing this up right now. That's CISM right there. You got CISSP, you got Security Plus, but CISM is on level 2. It's on level 3. It's kind of on the same level, I would say, because the Department of Defense did this. The federal government mandated that, okay, if you have a cybersecurity professional, if you have a system administrator, if you have a help desk professional who's working for our systems, federal information systems, they should have one of these certifications. If they're in this role or this role or this role, if they're doing any of these things, they need this certification. They need this many years. They need this. So that's kind of what they did. And CISM is all over this thing. CEH, CISM, Security Plus, CISSP, the CAP is also on there. But those first ones that I named are all over this thing, like listed multiple times. And that's why once you get that certification, you're going to make more money. Like if you try, if you put that on your resume, you put yourself out there, somebody's going to find you based off of CISM. So that's a great win. It's not just big in the CIS. The thing that's special about CISM that I've noticed in this industry, and you IT professionals and cybersecurity people, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm speaking out of turn, let me know. But the CISM I noticed is very special because it's not just respected in the federal government, but also in the financial sector as well. The financial sector looks at ISACA certifications such as the CISA and the CISM, which is more of a management type certification. And if you want to know how much this thing goes for, we can look that up real quick. Watch this. So CISM certification salary. That's what I'm looking for. Check this out. And this is this is kind of a huge spread here, but anywhere from 52,000 to 243,000. It depends on your position. That's why this is such a huge gap, that unrealistically crazy gap here, is because you're talking about somebody who might be just starting out with 3 years of experience, who has a CISM, or 4 years experience, whatever the minimum is, and somebody who's a director, at a major firm or at a major organization. So that's why the spread is like so big, because it depends on other factors. So yeah, there's your CISM right there. That's a great certification, highly respected. Definitely, I've seen it listed as one of the requirements for different management positions. So yeah, good job, man. Excellent job. All right, let me see. I'm gonna keep reading here. Other things. Let me see here. I'm in the DMV area, and I do hope to get one of those, learn in the job roles. What kind of role are you in right now, if you don't mind me asking? What kind of position are you in? I'm just curious. The CAP is a good certification for CIS, especially if you're doing information system security officer work. It's a very good, solid certification for getting your foot in the door. And they're really looking for experience, to be honest with you. But if you can get the certification, it's definitely good. But once you get your feet wet, like if you have a little experience in there, like in the role in an organization, says that I'm a complete beginner. If you've had a role, even as a help desk person, it's one step in the right direction. Ultimately, with cybersecurity, they're really looking for experience. And I know that's like, it's chicken and the egg. Like, how can I get the job if I don't have experience? How can I get experience if you don't give me the job? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing? But what you want to do is, especially if you're a very early beginner, is just get your foot in the door, become a help desk person, become customer support, do tier 1 type stuff. Get in there, and then you can start building from there. Actually, I do real estate right now, wholesale real estate, and I only know about the CAP through my dad and his connections in the area. Real estate, wow, I've been getting into that lately. That's one of the reasons I haven't been doing as many videos. I'm doing real estate stuff. Fun, but it's just a lot. It's a whole different animal, man. Now I'm not a real estate broker or anything, but buying real estate and working with banks and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, holy crap, man! It's a great field to get into. Cybersecurity is a great field. It's been, since I've been involved in it, it's done nothing but grow. And I've been really blessed to have chosen this path. My career was not affected because I've been doing this during this whole COVID-19 thing, and it's been going really well for me. And that's why, and so many more people are getting into it now. And you can clearly see how much more important it is the more that we as a society depend more and more on data, the more important cybersecurity is. So clearly it's gotten so much more traction, and it's gotten so much more important. And any organization in any government that doesn't take it serious is getting owned, because now state-sponsored hackers and criminal organizations are just wreaking havoc on any kind of weakness, any weakness they can find. And the big one right now is really phishing attacks, ransomware and phishing attacks. It's unfortunate, but if you don't educate your teams, if you don't educate your employees, your contractors and your suppliers, your vendors, if they're not taking it serious, they're just going to get owned, man. And then that could mean that you're going to get owned because your partners, your employees, your vendors, your suppliers, they're not taking it serious. So that just leaves a crack in the door for these criminal hackers to actually come in. And they're well funded now. They're funded by, in some cases, this is not conspiracy theory, guys. This is real. Like, they're being funded by, especially if they're in the same interest as the governments. They're being funded by governments. So it's just unfortunate. Let me see. Got a couple of the guys here. I'm 22, so I have not much experience in it. Yeah, you'll get there, man. That's really good. 2 years of real estate experience. Wow, that's awesome, man. More than I got. Kaimani, hope I pronounced your name right, says, I'm starting college in August and need help in deciding a major in cybersecurity, architecture, or cloud computing. Cloud computing. Boom. Solved. Everybody clap. Yay. There you go. I just solved the world peace. Cloud computing. Okay, I got 16 people watching this. I want to get a poll. All right. All you cybersecurity people out there, all you IT people who are watching me right now, I want you to type in, which one should Kaimani get? He's about to start college in August and needs help to decide on a major between cybersecurity architecture and cloud computing. Which one would you say? Which one would you advise him to do? And if you have time, why? I'm gonna go with cloud computing, and I'm gonna give you a reason why. Cloud computing right now with not much experience, I wouldn't say not very little, but not much experience, is pulling in 6 figures. Why? There's just not many people who do it. And they're real in everything from Netflix to Google Calendar to Gmail is going to cloud. I would say cloud. And see, here's the thing. Here's why I pick cloud over my precious cybersecurity stuff. Cloud computing is, you're going to have to actually have hands-on at some point. And cloud computing, right out the box, is going to give you that hands-on experience. I would also want to look at the curriculum. Like if the curriculum is very hands-on with cloud, like you're actually creating technologies built on cloud technology, and you're going to walk away with a certification in cloud, like an AWS cloud certification, I would totally go with cloud. If you don't have that and it's all just theoretical and you're going to walk away with a degree and some theory on cloud, I don't know. It doesn't matter. If that's the case, if that's what the curriculums are doing, then it doesn't really matter which one you choose. In all honesty, it does not matter. But if this one's hands-on, cloud. If cyber security architecture is more hands-on, cybersecurity architecture. Whichever one is more hands-on, I would say. In your org, because when I went to school, what we did, look, okay, so let me just qualify this. When I say school, I use the term very loosely because I went to the University of Phoenix. No, but I learned a lot there. All jokes aside, I learned a lot. I had great instructors. People talk mad crap about it, but I actually learned a lot. It was a great foundation. It was because I had some hands-on. Like we had one course where we literally set up firewalls. We brought computers into the class and we created a network, and then each of us put firewalls up and then start hacking back and forth and stuff, and all that was in the lab. And I learned so much by doing that stuff that that was very valuable to me. So, and then they had courses and curriculums where you could go this way, and then you would walk away with being able to take the CISSP, or you could go this way and you could walk away with a Security Plus, or you could do, the hands-on stuff where you walk away with a certification are like, in my opinion, you'll be able to compete in the market a little bit better if you have something like that. If you have a hands-on experience that you can walk away and do it, then it's not too many things that's going to beat that hands-on. All right, let's see. So I got one person saying cloud. I got another person saying IT risk analyst. Another person saying cybersecurity architecture. Another person saying IT cyber for 2 years, but cloud as it's pretty focused and easier to break down. So I got 2 cloud, 1 cybersecurity architecture, and 1 IT analyst. Fair enough. I would also say Kaimani, like, it's really your choice, man. Like, what do you want to do? That's really important. Look at the curriculum, look at where you see yourself in 5 years, and what kind of degree do you see? What's going to be displayed on your wall? What will you be most proud of when you look at your wall and see cybersecurity architecture or cloud computing professional, or whatever the name of the certification is? Which one do you feel like you would be more proud of to see on your wall? I would say, think about that 5-year goal and what do you see on that plaque underneath your name. Very, very important for you to walk away and walk away with something that you're satisfied with. I could tell you this, whichever one you get, you'll be able to get whatever job that you want to get, depending on where you go, especially if you can get some good old hands-on experience. While you're in college, I would highly recommend that you try to volunteer some time at the college to help with their IT department. If you can, like if they have any kind of program where you can get some hands-on stuff, do that. That's one thing I would say. The degree is really up to you, but try to get some hands-on experience, because that hands-on experience is going to come in very, very handy. Like you'll be able to walk off the campus and get a job with that experience and your degree and a certification if you can. Okay, let me see here. Since I don't have any more questions or comments, I want to cover a couple more questions if I have any. Let me see here. Just bear with me, guys. I'm going through some of my messages here. Trying to bring my messages back up in a second. And here we go. Okay. So let me see here if I can get some more relevant. Can't see the whole video, and this is referring to a shorts. I started putting out shorts. I don't know if you guys watch me on a regular basis, putting out these short videos, and then basically I just break up some of these longer form videos, break them up into little parts. It's just some people consume the information in a smaller form, and for them it's just better. So if you ever see the short videos, more than likely I have a longer version of that one that's on ConvoCourses on YouTube. So just go check that out if you want more information. Somebody said can't see the whole video, unfortunately, and they were referring to this short video that I put out there. Okay. Some people, D-Truth says, some people don't understand the information that's provided normally costs thousands of dollars from a company and don't offer discounts. I appreciate your time and sacrifice and effort that you put in, that you bring us. This is most needed information. Yeah, he's right. Like the stuff that I'm teaching, the stuff that I teach is thousands of dollars. And to be honest, I got a lot more information that is being planned and being put together right now in the background and the back end. I got so many more courses and so much more content, and hopefully some collaborations coming with other cybersecurity professionals who are in the field, like people just like myself who are literally in the field doing this kind of stuff every day. And I've got guys who have a slightly different skill set, and some with a completely different skill set that may be coming on this channel. And I really hope to get them on this channel and start to show you some incredible teachers, way better than me, like instructors who are going to blow your minds, and you don't even know their names yet, but you will. And I can't wait. I'm super excited to get them on here because they're great instructors and have great content. So there's more to come. I want to keep this stuff affordable. The prices will go up at some point, but I do want to keep them. I have a mission to keep this stuff affordable so that more people can get into this space. And I want to show people stuff that I wish I would have known. Like I wish that somebody would have sat me down and taught me this kind of stuff. But sometimes it just seems so inaccessible that you can't. It's so over there, it's so specialized. But I'm trying to take that specialization away and make it more readily available to the public. So that's the mission. Okay, let me see here. Got a bunch of spam. Man, this stuff's getting popular. Let me see. Okay, more spam. And I think I covered some of this stuff last week. All right, let me see. Maybe I did cover this. Somebody said, Zach Thomas said, cool video, bud. Thanks. That's good stuff. Quick question, though. I've heard the 8140 is supposed to be coming out I've heard the 8140 is supposed to be coming out of it if it isn't already. Okay, so this may not even matter, but when you mention the CNA security certification, is that the associate or professional level certification? I haven't found clarification on which level they are referring to unless I am missing it somewhere. I'm assuming it's professional. I just passed the Cyber Ops Associate a few weeks ago, and ago is the reason I'm asking. That's supposed to be a successor to the CNA Security. Oh, really? Cyber Ops Associate. Oh man, wow! I just learned something new. So CNA, for those of you who don't know, is a Cisco Certified Network Associate. Super popular certification. This is one of my first certifications I took, as a matter of fact. So I guess now they're changing it to the Cyber Ops Associate. I have to look into that. And then they've got CCNA. They used to have CCNA. Oh man, they had like 3 or 4 different ones. They broke it into parts, depending on like CCNA WAN and CCNA for switches, and they had different ones for routing and stuff. Okay, anyway, let me see. If you, or maybe I'm thinking CCNP, I don't know. If you or anyone reading this can clarify which level of CCNA, the CCNA security that they're talking about, straighten me out. Okay, that's a good question. I can do some quick research on this. So what he's asking, if I'm understanding this right, is he wants to know if the CCNA, the Cisco Certified Network Associate, is lined up with the 8140 that comes from the federal government, saying, hey, if you're a federal employee and if you have a privileged access to a system, you need to have a CCNA, or you need to have an A+, or you need to have a CISSP or a CAP or whatever, or CASP or whatever. So that's what he's asking. Let me just look at the actual document here. I want to look up the 8140 certification chart. I'm just looking it up here. They update this thing every now and then. And I actually, off the top of my head, don't remember seeing CCNA on here on this one. I've seen it on another one before, though. So that's what I'm going to research. Let me just show you what I am seeing. Yeah, I don't see it on. Is that? Nope, it's not on here. So yeah, let me show you what I'm seeing. This is the 8140 that he's talking about. 8140, like I said, is from the Department of Defense, but is slowly being adopted by the rest of the federal government. I don't know, like, it used to be called 8570, and it is recently changed. Well, it's been changed a couple times, and now it's 8140, but it's pretty much covering some of the same things on here. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but it does not have the CCNA on it. And the reason for that is that any kind of system-specific, vendor-specific certifications are on a different list. And the way that this works, I hope I can answer this question. I'm going to see if I can back this up with actual documentation. But let me just explain. So the way it works, when I was working directly in the public sector, I've worked for the Army, the Air Force, DISA, I've worked for Navy, I've worked for different organizations, but as a contractor and as an active duty person, by the way. But what they did was with the 8570, when it was 8570 and then 8140, pretty much the same thing. You had 2 different certifications you're supposed to get depending on your position. So if you are a network engineer, for example, and that's all you did, you just set up routes on switches, and let's say you worked on Cisco routers and switches, and so you're setting up, you're configuring config T and you're setting up routing protocols or whatever, right? Putting IP addresses and mapping switches or whatever you guys do. It's been a long time. I don't, off the top of my head, don't know. But that's what you're doing. Let's say that's your position. So you're not worried about security type stuff, right? Even though you actually do this stuff every day, like your routing, all that stuff is integrated into cybersecurity. You know, you got to have a password to get on the system, multi-factor authentication. You got to set all that stuff up. You know, you got to set up different security protocols on the switches and routers and things like that. They're expecting you to know basic security stuff. But in the federal government, what they were doing when I was in it was they would, number one, you were expected to get one of the certs on the list here. So that's these certs here that you're seeing. So a security plus at the very least was what they expected you to do. Like depending on your level. If you are, let's say you were a IAM level 1, that's information. No, that's not the right. You're IAT because it's technical, right? Because you're doing switches and routers. This is information assurance or cyber security. Technical level 1, you would be expected to get one of these certifications. Oh, and there it is. This CCNA security. And then there's IAT level 2, CCNA security plus. Oh, there they go right there. CCNP. All right. So how they were doing it when I was in is you were expected to get one of these things on the list. And then what they said was if you had a vendor specific, if you were on a specific system, which you always were, if you were technical, you were doing Cisco or you were doing Juniper or you were doing Palo Alto, they expected you to get a vendor level certification for that. So you were expected to get 2 certifications, one specifically for security and one for whatever system that you were on for your level. That's what they would expect us to do. And we had to document it and all that kind of stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you guys are watching me and you're like, that's not how we do it. That's not, you know. Listen, I worked for the federal government a while ago. So right now I'm purely private, but very familiar with all this stuff because I just got out of it working for federal government not too long ago. So that's what we had to do too. Now, if you got the CCNA security, like you're good. It's listed on this approved baseline certifications, and it's a specific system. So that's Cisco. Now, so let's say you had Juniper though. Like let's say that your organization for whatever reason had Juniper as the switching and routing internet working devices. You would have to get a security plus a Juniper certification. That's how they were doing it. That's how they were doing it. You'd have to have the technical in the weeds one and then the actual security plus, which is vendor neutral certification. Let me see. And somebody corrected me here. They said, Marcelo Wheeler says that CCNA security is a IAT2. CCNA is not a DoD 8570 approved certification. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for clearing that up. So, and he's right. We're looking at it right here. So, I was mistaken by saying that they didn't, because before they did not have vendor specific certifications on this list. It was all vendor neutral. So, I guess CCNA is an exception because I don't see any other vendor specific things on here. And that's typical. I hope that answers the question. I mean, let me see. Let me go back here. Go back to the actual question. So if you or anyone else reading this could clarify which level it's on. Okay, yeah. So I think that clarifies it. What level it's on. If we're talking about 8140, it is level 2, CCNA security. And actually it's listed on here as also CCNA level 2, level 1 rather. And then if you get into IAT level 3, it's a CCNP, Cisco Certified Network Professional over here. So hope that helps out. Let me read some more questions. Let me see here. We got any other questions here? Sir, do you have you created the course CCNA? Man, I get this question all the time. No, I do not have this course yet. This is something I will be working on very soon. We've got a couple different projects going on at the same time, so that's what's going on. Real soon, but before the end of the year, we're gonna have a few things that are gonna be released that I'm working on, and CCNA, SCA is one of those things. I'm gonna do like a mini course because I want to get something out there. And I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this Sunday. Appreciate everybody's questions. I hope that I answered them. And if I didn't, call me out. Tell me, hey, Bruce, like you totally skipped my question. I guess got a lot of stuff going on, guys, and I got a lot of people sending in questions and stuff. So bear with me. I know, sometimes can't get back fast on these things. I'm working on courses and doing stuff in the background, and all that stuff takes time to do, especially do it the right way and do it from a perspective that's more practical and hands-on and things like that. So it all takes time, but thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everybody. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And that's why I do these lives, so we can keep the information fresh, like we can keep on interacting like this. I feel like it's way more effective to do this from time to time.